Hello everyone, Burb here. I did not expect to make a schedule video today. As you know, I don't really do these unless there's something important to say. The last one was back in March, but apologies if this is a bit unscripted. I'm a little shook by this decision that they made. Back in March, they decided to actually move things later so that Trackblazer wouldn't overlap with the current champions meeting, and they seem to have done the opposite with Thrones Assemblage along with another card that is being released. So we will talk about the implications for CM14 and CM15, and it's great timing because I just released my Cancer Cup overview. I'm not too thrilled at doing this video because I'm releasing it so close to when that video releases, and I take it at great risk because releasing two videos in quick succession sometimes just kills off the first video. So I appreciate you all for watching that overview if you have. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it's able to maintain its speed because honestly, that overview video is the lifeblood of this channel. It is by far the video that appeals to the widest audience and brings people in. So I really hope it doesn't stop the algorithm for that by posting this. But as always for these scheduled videos, before I begin, if you're just looking for the schedule itself, here it is. Feel free to pause, and if that's all you need, I'm glad that it was a service to you. So I'll leave it here for 2 seconds, and then let's just talk about what's going on. The main problem that we're having this month is the release of these two particular banners and the current CMs that they are part of. The first one is on June 4th. It is not necessarily Sweep Toshu is the problem, but the release of Taiki Shuttle Speed. It happens on day 1 of Gemini Cup, which is in 3 days. I planned on going over this card in its own video, and I still will because it is actually a pretty great card. Taiki Shuttle Speed is a speed card that basically is as good as any of the other speed cards you have. It is a 5% race bonus card, but it has a massive speed bonus. It's 2 speed bonus and 1 power bonus. You can kind of consider it as basically the Mr. CB of speed, where it's just using a bunch of bonus to supplement the fact that it doesn't necessarily have the biggest amount of friendship and friendship and race bonus attached to it. The biggest thing about it is that it gives Mile Maven, and this skill is absolutely ridiculous in Mile. This is a card you probably can't pull for unless you're a whale, because it's just way too close to Light Hello to drop 400 on it, but this is used in Miles for a little while because it actually is quite strong in that department. How is this going to affect CM14? Well, pace chasers and front runners get stronger. You can build this on pace. It makes pace chasers quite good. So technically, if you're not Taiki, you can put this on like Nishina Flower, and it makes her better because it gives her some mid-race. But really, front runners are going to be a lot stronger if they rebuild this for it. And specifically, it's going to be V-Bourbon. And this is sort of the problem, is that V-Bourbon is already incredibly strong. This makes her basically the best character in the game. Her weakness was basically that Summer Maru was sort of her checks and balances. Summer Maru was had Mile Maven and Kit, which would basically counter Operation Cacao, and then she'd KFC in front of them. Now V-Bourbon, and to a lesser extent Smart Falcon, now has access to Mile Maven to counter the Mile Maven from Summer Maru. So V-Bourbon just far and away is the best frontrunner, in my personal opinion. And it makes it quite tough on both us backliners as well as other people making frontrunners. And because the character's so easy to build, we're probably going to see a few of them that do it. The only saving grace that the Guts build is sort of finicky, so whoever's going to get Mile Aptitude S plus a Guts build that's successful is going to absolutely roll over us, but that should be few and far between. And this is not the worst thing in the world. It's just really annoying to have the option of quick building and having a significant increase in the meta. So this will be fun fighting against V-Bourbon through the entirety of CM14. You also have Sweep Tosha that gets released, which is actually a pretty good W. Like, it's not the most broken character in the world. It's a good end closer. If you enjoy end closing, she has a 0.35 ultimate, but is a end closer with a end aptitude, which is pretty good. And hey, I'm daily pulling for her. I like her. We get some legend races on June 7th. We got a little bit of an interim here between the two problem banners, but we get half of a Tamamo Cross and half of a Meisho Doto, and eventually you may be able, through daily legend races later in a year, get these characters for free. So that's kind of cool. Then we have the camping banners in the camping event. Camping Taiki and Camping Dober are pretty good in their own respects on the certain tracks that they are meant for. Dober is meant for those downhill tracks, and I believe Taiki is meant for the mile tracks that regular Taiki is not good at. So they're too good. It's a good banner to pull on if you like these two characters. I will be going over them. Of course, I do guides on all the characters when they are being released. But the Search Summer Solve event is another story event. It's similar to the wedding event we just had, I believe it was. And basically we get a bunch of free clocks on the spinny wheelie thing. We get a story event to watch and listen to, and we get a bunch of quests, and through that we get a ton of carrots, which is nice. And I believe we are getting Xenorabroy Stamina as our special card. It is completely unusable in like Champions Meeting, let's be honest. It has no TEF, it has no MEP, so it only gives stamina. It doesn't have very good stamina output, but it is a Team Trials card because it gives Clairvoyance, which is a 120 skill point skill, and it's actually the only source of clairvoyance ever on a card. So I would suggest getting this. I don't even know if it's used in Team Trials, to be honest, but it is kind of cool to have the only source of a single thing in the game. So that's releasing on June 11th, and then June 18th we have Air Shakur, which is the character I really like the aesthetic of. It's a little bit misguided in its abilities and its ultimate. However, it is really funny that it has 30% whip bonus, and of course it is an end closer with an aptitude A in the current meta, so it is usable. Now, this is more of an Oshi pick than anything else, to be honest, but I will go over the character when it gets a little closer. Air Group Power is not a pull, in my opinion. It's supposed to be a stamina generation power card, something like a Hishi Amazon. It has less TEF and Meth than just running Super Creek. So if you just run like Super Creek, you get more stamina, and then when she roams, she is actually just better than Air Shakur Power. Or Air Group, Air Shakur Power, Air Group Power. And Lion Weight is not necessarily there's other recoveries you can get on late surges. It's not a primary card to pull, and we're so close to many other cards that are more important. Now here's the problem. After this point, we have Thrones Assemblage releasing, and this gets released on day one of that, what do I call it? I forget the name of the cup now. It was Gemini, and then it was, oh my goodness, I am absolutely cooked right now. Cancer Cup. That's ironic that that's the name of it. So yes, it gets released on day one of the Cancer Cup, and not the registration day, on the first day of racing on it. So on the day of, at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m., it's going Eastern time, of course. It's going to be released. You're going to want to run your races, and you can start using your borrows if you wanted to make a character with Thrones Assemblage. Now, Thrones Assemblage is a very powerful card because it is basically a group card, which is like a PAL card that you can choose which events it is. And just the events alone give you can see over here on this JP analysis, it gives 96 speed, 186 wit, and 102 SP just from running the dates. And there's like a specific schedule that you run that you press the dates at certain times. That just gives you these full speeds. This is basically more stats than a card kind of gives it, and this kind of opens up the world to pretty much everyone getting UGs at this point. So Uma's built with this will have higher rating, and if they high roll, then they will be well and above the standard Umas that you're currently building. If you count all the random events, that's just the guaranteed events, you get almost 400 stats from this card, and I think it's 135 skill points, which is quite a bit too. And that's not including any training, because the card also is absolutely incredible in training. Now, it's a group card, so it's a little bit hard to model, but basically when you press a date or when you train with it on a thing, it has a chance of proccing an effect that gives you 3 turns of rainbowness. This could massively high roll, because if it goes into the summer, you basically have a free 35% friendship bonus added on to whatever training it decides to go to. So if it does actually hit, it's basically like adding a fine motion friendship training to whatever you want. Also, it is a 2 skill point bonus card, and you're going to see, like, even at 10 skill points on a thing, you get 6 bonus skill points just from having like friggin' Rudolph on the the training itself. So we're still exploring how this actually works, this mechanic works, because I haven't really run this Team Series card very much. But when I get to it, I will get to it when the card is released a little bit closer. But just know that this card is very, very good. You can get things like, this is a JP thing. This is our JP test with like no parents. They were all speed sparks, and just pressing the events got us to 529 wit by like early classic year April. Like, this card gives so much wit, it's kind of stupid. So yeah, we'll get over whether or not you need to redo your stuff in a bit, but we do get Saiyan Sky and Narita Bryan as a rerun banner. If you don't have these as your parents, note that Saiyan Sky is able to be farmed from daily legend races, but they are both decent parents. The only other thing I would say is that Blaze Bryan's out in like 8 months or so, or 7 months, so that's a little bit better of an inherit on certain characters on certain tracks. And if you like Bryan, you may want that instead. But hey, these two are both perfectly fine characters to go and run. So the big question is, do you need to redo your aces? I think CM14, the big answer is no. Even if you're a front runner main, you could go and try to redo your Bourbon or redo your Smart Falcon or something. If you're running Summer Mario, obviously you don't need to. It doesn't really affect backliners except the fact that our roll just got a tiny, tiny bit worse. CM15, there's a discussion to be had because, I'm the person that keeps saying that frickin' at registration, like, we should not be time gating our Umas. Like, we have 25 runs and we're just going to frustrate ourselves. And it's why I'm so shook right now. It's like, I can't say not to try to get better Umas because this card's so powerful that, man, it's just like half of us are going to hit and half of us are not, and it's really frustrating to me that this is happening. Yeah, I'm surprised I'm shook this much about it, but just run them. Like, this CM15 Cancer Cup, we did this in Leo with Auhara release. It's like, don't expect anything better. Keep building your aces till now. Try to build the Umas that are also parents as well to help you out in the future. But ultimately, you may be able to quick build an Uma that's better. And the odds of you getting your borrows, like your first 5 borrows on day 1, is going to be better than it. I don't think it's very high. But it is an option. I'm still 50-50 on it, but I think that you at least go and try to throw your borrows on the day of and try to get something better, because this basically becomes your borrow card as soon as it's released for the next 2 CMs. You can't pull Throne. Like, if you're a whale, go right ahead, but if you're not a whale, you can't pull Throne. It's used for this CM and next CM, and then that's it. It's done. You can't run it in Grand Live because there's too many buttons to press with the dates that you lose your training and you don't get the scenario mechanic. So apologies if this was really unscripted. This came out of nowhere, and I felt I needed to at least sound my thoughts on it. And as you can see, I'm frustrated myself about it. So I don't think it was the correct decision. I'm sure there's some scheduling thing that required it to be so, but I just wish that the support cards were about 4 days a little bit later. I think we could have done it. So take care, everyone. I will have, I guess, future videos on this topic when I am more able to analyze it in a mathematical sense, I'd say. It's kind of frustrating. Take care, everyone. For about